This is Wild on 7th, your favorite Wild podcast. Did you guys see this? This is unbelievable. What is that all about, Kinger?
Get in here for the real thing.
Like, let's get weird.
Maybe I blacked out trying to figure out what was going on.
Doubt, worry, fear, because that's what we're breaking the mold on here.
Welcome to Wild on 7th, presented by Pilot Games. We're here until it's here.
Welcome back to Wild on 7th, your favorite Wild podcast, presented by our friends at Pilot Games. Make sure when you're out watching Sunday night hockey, Monday night hockey, we're skipping football season. I mean, we'll have to get into that a little bit, Kinger, with the Vikes. It's tough right now. But when you're out enjoying yourself, grab one of their tablets. Play a couple of games. It's fun, entertaining. You have a chance to win, change your night. And not only do you have a chance to win, it's guaranteed your community wins. Such a great supporter of youth athletics around the cities and other areas. So Pilot Games, again, thank you for the sponsorship.
And you don't need to be a pilot to play.
No, anybody.
That's a lot of people were confused by that. Pilots can play.
It's just not all airplane games.
It's not all airplane games. And even if you're not a pilot, you can grab one of the iPads and play.
We're recording Monday after the Calgary win. And boy, I think there actually was a full moon over the week, but it felt like sometimes with full moons, you hear weird things happen. There were some weird things that occurred, for sure around the league, but with the Wild over the course of the week. Should we start with, by the way, we record once a week. This is kind of maddening. How often do things happen on Mondays, like the afternoon after we record?
Every single time.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Do we need to break this mold too? Is that just the way we look at it, or does it feel like it actually happens like that?
That's
like
what happened.
Kirill signed like the Monday after we recorded that day.
The other thing that happens,
like, all the big news happens like right away. We don't get to react to it real time. We gotta wait like 7 days. Now it's old and dusty. Let's bring it back up. But you know what? We're going to talk about this. Let's start with the Nashville goal that maybe was a no goal.
the phantom goal.
The phantom goal.
Well, you had a couple things there. We gave one up with 0.2 left, and I believe the night before, Nashville had been on the wrong side of that, under a half a second, and they get one. And then
late game heroics.
And we have the net get knocked off. JoJo has the presence of mind to slide it through where the net would have been. But you get a goal without actually shooting a puck into a net, which is pretty rare.
So as we analyze it, if you didn't see the play, I think you almost just have to go watch it. So goaltender for Nashville, Annunen, slides from his right to his left, hits the post, knocks the net off. It looks purposeful. And Kaprizov makes a pass to Johansson on the back post through a body. Johansson never sees it, redirects this puck, but the net is now off of its mooring and turning almost perpendicular to the way that it usually sits. I'd say it's probably 3/4 turned when Johansson hits the net with the puck. The puck bounces off the net and goes back to Johansson. He pots it into the net now and stands there with his hands up saying, what the heck, that should count. And the referee says goal.
Right away.
Yeah. So if you're not tracking with that verbally, you just watch the video. It'll make a little bit more sense. But Nashville threw a fit and they didn't want to leave the ice.
Yeah, I think Bruno was talking for about 20 minutes after.
And Nashville didn't leave the bench. But the rule is, and where I think Nashville has a case and the NHL is going to probably have to look at this rule a little bit closer, is the rule states and this is layman's terms, that if there's a continuation of a play and it's imminent that a puck will go in the net, if the net is knocked off its moorings, that the referee can make a judgment call and say, goal. It was going to go in. So I can call it a goal despite the fact it didn't go in.
And when I was explaining this to people, the only way I could explain it was the thrown stick, which we saw last night, as a matter of fact. So my understanding was always if someone's on a breakaway empty net and you throw your stick, the last resort, that is an auto goal as well. And it seems to be in the bylaws, these are similar things. Kick off the net, it would have been an empty net goal, or the goalie wouldn't have been in the net and you would have scored, or throwing your stick when an unimpeded forward is heading to an empty net. Those are kind of like phantom goal opportunities, I guess the case would be. So I think we even talked about it. If Kirill, when the stick was thrown last night, he could have even not shot it into the net. We could have had 2 phantom goals. He could have, if this was the NFL, he could have gone right up to the line and just left it there, like a touchdown guy that backs in. That's not what NHL players do, but
no. And I think the point here is the details within the rule, and you're talking about, and I think that rule is any infraction against a player skating towards an open net. And an open net, by definition, is a net with the goaltender pulled. So no goaltender on the ice, unimpeded player headed towards the net, and any infraction against that player is a goal.
And I thought the Nashville one was kind of covered under the same
umbrella,
same sort of thing.
Right.
Where
it's an open net. There's a potential penalty because it does look like Annunen knocks the net off.
Someone pulls this is like pulling the fire alarm at school to get out of taking the test. I think anything like that, my understanding was auto goal.
Yeah. So, and the spirit, my interpretation of the rule is, and I could be wrong, is that it's a continuation of a singular play. So if the net is on its way off of its moorings and a puck is like on its way to cross the goal line, the referee can make a judgment call and say, yes, that's a goal. The net coming off didn't affect that puck crossing the goal line. Like so it was imminent, and that's the word. It was imminent.
So 2 things. So does that mean the reason we got the goal there was when JoJo pulled it back and shot it where the net would have been? If he doesn't do that, it's not a goal. And then what was Brunette's argument? So what is Bruno?
Here's what's intriguing. This is why I think the rule has to be revisited. Okay. Now, if the net was off prior to Johansson getting like the initial touch, and that's the continuation of one play, and that would have crossed the goal line, that's the referee's ability to make a judgment call saying that puck was on its way in the net, despite the fact that the net was off its moorings.
Which didn't happen.
And my job is to blow the whistle when the net's off its moorings, but I don't have to do that right now because it was imminent that puck was crossing the goal line.
So potentially by the letter of the law, it just should have been a penalty.
Or they could have looked at it as a penalty, because I don't know if at that point they can challenge that or not. They can't challenge in overtime. But so where I think Nashville has a case is when that puck actually crossed the goal line.
It wasn't the continuation. It was
of one play. It was the beginning of a second play. So after the one play, the first play continued to its finish, which was the puck hitting the net and bouncing back to JoJo, a second play begins.
Yeah. Should we zoom in Brunette and just talk to him about it?
Well, so why I think Bruno's upset is there's no challenge. So he can't challenge any of that.
Yeah, that's
right?
a tough one.
And the right post, what makes it intriguing is the right post stayed on the peg. So the right post never moved off its mooring, so Johansson was going to miss that. And his comments were intriguing because he said, I never saw it. It just hit my tape. So it just hit his tape and redirected wide, came back to him, he put it in. And I don't think he was looking for a goal to be called. He was looking for like a, hey, penalty, right?
I think it was a great call.
Yeah, I mean, but how mad would you be if you're on the other side of it?
But you know what? We weren't on the other side of it.
It's changed, and that's where I'm going with it.
I think that referee is a great referee, and it was the right call.
Things have changed. Now the Wild have won 4 or 5.
Yeah, no, it's been.
Imagine they lose that, and that was overtime, so it was still like it wasn't the end of the world.
We gave a point away.
Yeah, it wasn't the end of the world, but it would have felt a lot different.
Well, we even talked about this. Remember, we said if we could just get to 500 by Thanksgiving. We're at 500 right now. Now there's a lot of hockey to be played between now and Thanksgiving, ups and downs, right? But I certainly feel a lot better looking around the league, and I'm seeing tiers of teams we'll have to go through this when we look around the league, but certainly the Wild are starting to play something that resembles Wild hockey, which makes me very happy. And really last night was very interesting with the shutout, 2-0. Volstead was great. By the way, a goalie doing a fist pump is the best.
I like
this only
this
happens.
guy looks like Optimus Prime when he's down there fist pumping or something, and he did it last game too.
I know.
He's developing a signature.
It only happens in like youth hockey, and to see a goalie fist pump that way, where he's almost using his hockey.
He's like an umpire. He's like punching a guy out.
It is great, and he did the hand and the stick in the air as Carell was coming down on the empty netter, and he's bringing some joy to a position that typically doesn't dabble in that too much. Most goalies aren't going to give you the punch out because that can come back.
Does he have a little Bennington in him? Like a little hate, like a little anger.
He's a serious dude. And he wants it all.
Well, I think what we're seeing is he wants it
now.
Yeah,
and he doesn't want to wait, and he doesn't want to be a medium-sized goalie and then become a big goalie and then become the best goalie. He wants it all now. So I think part of that fist pump is like, I'm going to take it. He's intense. I think the fans like it. I like it.
Yeah. I think there's no question, but look at some of the great goaltenders of the past, like Patrick Waugh. I'm not saying that Volsted's Patrick Waugh, but he was
fiery.
He was fiery.
Yeah, fiery still is as a coach. You can see him crawling over the glass.
Yeah, and there are some guys that can get away with being like that.
Hextall, fiery.
Some fiery guys, and they're polarizing when you have a fiery guy in the net. A lot of times, and all we've heard about is, at least in the last decade, is you like having a calm goaltender. And I think Volstead is calm, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, in the net.
But he's fiery, like he wants to win, like there's some compete there. And again, it's not saying that the other goalies that have come through don't want to win. This one's just, you can see it.
You can see
his nonverbals.
And even if that shutout would have been broken up, so let's just say they scored 1 in garbage time, I think Wally's pissed. I think he's working on his resume. He is trying to post. He is trying to put some things on the board.
So, and for frame of reference, we sat down with Wally, probably almost 2 years ago. So you can scroll down on Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, and go have a listen of Volstead, and you'll quickly understand that he's serious about wanting to be a good goaltender and about not settling to just play at the NHL level. Like, he wants to be good, and he wanted it 2 years ago.
Yeah, he didn't want to see Iowa ever.
Well, the other thing that's, I think, encouraging is he seems to have been able to focus on what matters, and that's playing good hockey, and that some of the other noise doesn't matter. So hear me out. Last year, he came in thinking he had an opportunity, 3 goalie rotation, right? And maybe whether that was to motivate Gustafsson or to give Volstead some confidence, whatever, don't know, right? And Volstead, or this is 2 years ago, right? Yeah, it was 2 years ago. Or was that last
year?
It was last year.
Yeah. And then he, they're doing, it's like the cakewalk, right? The music stops. There was only 2 chairs. It went to Flower and Gus. He's down in Iowa, has a rugged ride down there last year.
He thought he was going to be an NHL goaltender and have a sniff, never got a chance.
Yeah, he's on Zillow looking at property up here in the metro, and then he's in Iowa, and that was not, he would tell you the same, not a great season last year. So then everyone's wondering, well, this is supposed to be baby Hank Lundqvist. What do we have here? And he's really started the season back to how he was projected. I mean, he's just been really good.
So where it's not that he's focused on how my path to getting the net, which I think happened last year, and it derailed him, and he went over the offseason becoming mentally stronger and figuring it out. And this is a tease for our guests on this podcast. We talked to Wild great Niklas Bäckström, and he talked about how his path to the net was slower, didn't get to the NHL till he was 27 or 28, but he was battle tested by the time he got there. And he talks about the importance of having hardship for a goaltender. And Wallstedt had that last year. Now it looks like he's emerged from the hardship, and he's not focused on what's my path to the net.
He just knows
seems to just be like, I'm going to be good.
And when he's in the net, when he does have the game, he's making it a Wally game all the way to the fist pump at the end.
Yeah.
And those, like you said on the broadcast last night, just no rebounds and diving on them and seeing them in a crowd. And, you know, you get one chance, and I mean, they outshot us 2-1, which we have to get into as well. But yeah, he was good. And I was wondering if he was going to get that game because he's been playing well.
Well, that game was a statement.
Yeah, I mean, he's in the mix now. And I'm assuming they'll go back to Gus against San Jose. I guess I don't know. I mean, he just had a shutout, but it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
Well, I think if I'm analyzing that situation, don't know who they're going to go with San Jose on Tuesday, but if they go with Wallstedt, I think it illustrates that they're maybe a little bit still uneasy with where they're at in their standings, right? Where they're trying to squeeze every point out of every game.
Ride the hot hand.
Yeah, ride the hot hand.
That would be the thinking, right? This works.
But that also says, like, we need these points now. Like, it's not about 82, it's about today, you know? But if they go back to Gus, I think it's more like, Gus has not been bad, for the record. He's not been bad. It's just he's had few games where he's done what Wally did last game. He out-goaltended Devin Cooley. Yep, Gus has not been bad. He's just not out-goaltended the other guy enough, or the other guy's just been better on any given night.
And you do have the back-to-back on the weekend, so there's going to be an opportunity for both of them in the net this week as well. But it's funny, we were talking about really the only moment at the start of this season was when he won the shootout against LA, maybe, Wally, and he did the fist pump for the first time. And yeah, I like it. You know, if you're putting the mental highlight reel together for the 25-26 Wild season, Jesper Wallsted's Optimus Prime fist pump is in the highlight reel for sure.
So if we're looking at moments for the year, I think the Nashville goal, the Phantom goal, is going to end up being one.
Because we really hadn't had a break. We had so many posts, right? The most in the league. You see, earlier than that, I think Faber hit one off the back of the glass and off the goalie's back and in. We get the Phantom goal. It started to feel like, okay, maybe the powers that be don't hate us. The hockey gods aren't angry at the Wild for a second. And getting a couple bounces has been great.
Yeah. Another moment is kind of Brock Faber calling himself out and then kind of
going on a heater, 9 points. And
like the Undertaker coming back from the dead, like the next day, and just grabbing the league by the neck and saying, I've got this. He's got like 9 points in 7 games, whatever it is. Like he's been
falling on a sword and then pulling out the sword out of yourself and just cutting up the rest of the league. And by the way, that's one of my favorite fan moments because it was dark and Brock was almost like your friend that you were watching Wild games with that was taking it harder than you. And then to see him respond the way he has, he really just looks like himself. The visor's riding up high. He's jumping into plays. He's getting on the score sheet. It's been great. And then the other one we have to mention is the dynamic duo returns. And I know the goal was spectacular, but my favorite moment, bar none, start of the broadcast, cut to the bench, the familiar section of the bench where they're both there. Kirill's head is below the boards. He pops back up, and Zuki is holding the smelling salt for Kirill to wiggle above. I mean, this is Step Brothers. This is friendship goals is what it is. # friendship goals. He's holding the smelling salt for his buddy. The mustache is in good form from Zuki, and then we go tic-tac-toe, ESP. I think Kirill's happier.
Well, look at the smile. That's what I was going to say. The moment was right after. Look at this smile. It's like being reunited
at an airport
after a long deployment or something. Like the smile was like,
This is military dad coming back.
know.
And I did hear a quote that I think this will be a little out of context, but it was really interesting. I think Billy said to Russo that one of the reasons he was happy Zuki was coming back was Kirill had been a little crabby. And he thought he would be less crabby when Zuki was back. And I think it's absolutely true. He just, seeing 97 smiling, I think he plays better hockey when he's loving playing hockey.
You know what's amazing about Kirill? I feel like I say this too often, but he hasn't like had superstar moments, has he? Like he hasn't undressed anybody one-on-one. It hasn't been like, you know, the bat signal hasn't been out. Like we haven't seen like superstar moments yet. He's just been like a silent superstar. Like what's he at? Like
22 points.
22 points, like maybe third in the league right now.
He's trending to.
How does he do it? How does he do it?
He's
like,
trending to triple digits, 90s. You know, he's right on pace, and he hasn't even played his best hockey yet.
Yeah, how does he do it? You know what I mean? It's a legitimate question. How does he do it? Matt Boldy has been terrific, and Kaprizov's pulling away. Like they're on the ice together all the time. Kaprizov's pulling away on the points. Like,
well, Boldy's
it's amazing.
Boldy's a little streakier, you know, where he'll just go on a stretch and then he'll be a little quiet for a minute. It seems like Kirill is always making deposits at the bank. Now, whether it's an empty netter or whatever it is, the first goal of the game and we maybe lose, but we get 2 and he's got 2 points. He just gets it done.
I'll transition on that. Back to the Faber and the Undertaker, and you were talking about how dark that felt.
It was awesome, though.
How about Ryan O'Reilly from Nashville taking a page out of Brock Faber's book?
God, that was even more amazing when he goes, I mean, I've only had one good season my whole career.
I know.
And he just goes, I don't have any idea what's going on. And that guy's an animal. I mean, that guy is just the exact type of guy you want in your locker room. So I do think
you go try to get that guy right now and buy low.
But really, I mean, that's the stuff that's how you end up wearing a letter, I think. And I know
I don't know.
It sounds weird. That was a lot. His was really dark. But I think the vulnerability, I think fans relate to that. You know, hey, it's not going good. I don't even feel like myself. But then you got to respond. I mean, you'd want Ryan to go off. I don't know what he's done.
I don't know that he can go off. It's a slippery slope.
You think he's just broken?
It's a slippery slope. Like every
the
person
one
that's
season,
going to
one good season in my whole career was amazing.
Well, for every person that's going to be sympathetic and understand that there is legitimate challenge for these guys, and they like that's a real mental struggle. Like for that sentence to come out, those thoughts have been there. Like it's tough for them. You know, and there will be others that just use that as ammo and fuel to keep them suppressed, you know, and I'm not talking about the other team, just in general. So I just find it's a slippery slope to be there, but it was dark. Now I'm hoping, but to your point, I'm hoping Nashville finds a way to turn it around for him. I am.
Well, O'Reilly, he looks different too. You know, he looks thinner and, you know, when he was winning it in St. Louis, he still looked like a guy changing posts on his farm, wherever he is. You know, he had a little more weight on him. He just looks a little older and a little tireder, but he's a warrior. We'll see what happens.
I want to check in on hits. So my bold prediction on the year was that the Wild would finish bottom 5 in hits. Trennian seems like he's on a mission to just make me be wrong himself. He leads the league in hits. But there are other signs that are pointing towards maybe the Wild not wanting to be a physical team. What did you think of Pitlick? And he took like 2 physical penalties in like 2 of his final 3 games or something, and then boom, kind of relocated. But
that was an interesting play because I found it was really split down the middle on my group text and stuff. A lot of people said, you know, we need more of that. You know, he really got the guy. It was borderline. He caught a little bit of his chin, but I like physicality, and it was tough though, right? It seemed to turn the game, or it didn't really turn the game. The game got weird after that, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I like hitting. When you made that bet, I thought there's no way. There's absolutely no way a Bill Guerin GM team is last in the league in hits. Like he would be chewing through the desk if that's the case. But We have some guys that do it. Certainly Marcus and Trennan. But Pitlick was running. Pitlick was throwing his body around too.
Oh, yeah. Right now they're sitting. Now they have more games played than most. But they're sitting in 8th with 380 hits.
8th from the top.
Yes.
Oh, wow. So you're way off on that one.
But hear me out. The teams that have struggled are the teams at the bottom of the standings. It's Florida, St. Louis, Calgary, New York, Ottawa. So those are the teams at the top. Vancouver. The point is, there's a direct correlation. There is a direct correlation to volume of hits.
And not playing well.
And not possessing the puck.
Frustration.
Because you can't make a hit when you possess it.
True.
Right? So that whole bet was the spirit of it. The Wild will possess the puck. They'll be a good team. And with that, they just won't be as physical and as 7th Street savage a team as we've seen in the past. I think that now I'll double down on this. They're going to start falling from here. This might be the highest that they're at if their game turns around, which it seems like it has. They've won 4 of 5. If it turns around, they're going to start sliding down that list. Now, I don't think that they're going to fall all the way to the bottom 5. It seems like that's no longer real. But
it is interesting, though, if you think of that Pitlick hit. If that's in the playoffs, nobody has a problem with it. You know, it's like Dumba and Pavelski, right? But being
you also need guys that are willing to do stuff like that.
I mean, I agree. I liked it. But I don't know. I mean, he was there to, I would say when Tyler Pitlick was in the lineup, he was going to leave a mark. That seemed to be the way he was playing. And, but now he's in Iowa. But I think he's probably a guy that you'll see again. But yeah, he got him. And he had his guy, and then he has to fight I don't know. I'd have to look at his stats. I don't think Tyler does a ton of fighting. He's more of a hitter, but that was a big boy that went after him afterwards. Shen.
Any marks on the TV tray from I don't know, like chai tea or
from like Cub? You
spills?
mean?
Yeah. Food. Like
yeah, I did. Actually, I can transition this in. Actually, watching the Flames game last night, had some gluten-free mac and cheese from Cub. And I would tell you, Ryan, when you get mac and cheese, if you can eat it when it's still hot, then you've got the liquid cheese. Because what happens to mac and cheese is after like 3 minutes, it just gets kind of sticky. A little rubber cement-y. But if you can eat it while it's still warm and oozing, it's delicious. This is not going to be appealing to anyone. But if you don't want to do that, you just want to go get food at Cub, they have great deals. They have all of the snacks you'd need. They have everything for the holidays coming up. They do have liquor stores, and they do deliver. Cub, they're one of us. If you had to have a fresh, clean, crisp glass of water after your gluten-free liquid cheese macaroni, where would you get that from?
Oh, yes. Well, and I can transition into this because it's November. And I don't know about you, but the air actually is dry. It's starting to dry up. We got a little bit of snow for the first time. But holiday season means a lot of stress and a lot of things to worry about. Companies coming over. I don't know if you're getting the house in order, the grocery shopping, cooking, all that stuff. But the last thing you need is more stuff to worry about, like the equipment in your home. My advice, keep Aquarius Home Services on speed dial, Kinger. Whether you have plumbing issues like a water heater that goes out or it's leaking, a light switch that seems to not do well or it's flickering, a faulty furnace that doesn't kick on or your zones aren't right, whatever that might be, Aquarius is the company I trust to take care of my home, and they can cover all of those things. Plus, enjoy Aquarius because they provide, or right now they're providing $98 off any repair, and they're just a click away at AquariusHomeservices.com, earning the right to be recommended, Kinger.
Great job.
Yeah, thanks, man. And also, if you're listening right now and you want to support the podcast, we've got room for a couple more sponsors. So hit us up on the socials. Let us know. We'll get in contact with you. But yeah, Kinger, so what else you got on those little blue?
Well, let's look around the league. I'm trying to figure out who's for real and who's a pretender. And I've divided this into tiers, okay? I think we have contenders. These are good teams that are playing well. This would be Colorado. This would be Dallas. This would be Las Vegas. I would still put Winnipeg in here, even though they're in a wild card position at the moment. And I would put Anaheim in there. I really want to dive into Anaheim a little bit because their roster composition is very interesting. They did a lot of really good things in the offseason. Their goal differential is off the charts. So Anaheim, to me, is like not a Johnny-come-lately. This is not Connor Bedard going on a heater for a week. This is like maybe a problem, like the Ducks might be for real. And then I have the TikTok teams. These are young, exciting teams that I'm not sure if they're real. Chicago, Utah, San Jose Sharks. So really Celebrini, Bedard, Logan Cooley, those types of teams. And then there's just a group of Seattle, LA, Edmonton, the Wild, where they have a track record of being playoff teams, but they're kind of uneven at the start, partially because they're running into these TikTok teams, and then they still got to go play Dallas or Colorado or Vegas. So I think there's kind of tiers, and I my gut tells me the Chicagos of the world will fade. I think you can bully the Sharks. I think you can bully Chicago with some of this young talent. But they're playing well to start the year. There's a generational shift of the NHL happening right in front of our eyes.
Yeah, so you've got the contenders, you've got that, what would you call that middle tier, and then not pretenders. But I think your point is valid.
Well, I call the TikTok team, I mean, these are young, exciting teams to watch. If you're a San Jose Shark fan, it's pretty fun to go to the rink. You might lose 5-4, but you're going to have something to talk about on the way home with Celebrini and Will Smith. Same with Chicago, Rinzel and Bedard and Nazar. But I think, and then there's kind of the question mark of the Kings and the Oilers and the Wild, where we're still kind of sorting through our identity. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing, kind of these different tiers. Young guns, TikTokers or whatever, contenders, like Colorado is just playing good hockey, and they're a good team. And then you got some people that have been to the playoffs consistently that maybe got out of the gates a little slower than you expected. Edmonton included, by the way.
Yeah. So I think your point is valid. Like if at Thanksgiving, and let's just say this was September, we made this bet. If you were to say Montreal was going to be leading the Atlantic.
Yeah, I only really focus on the West, but that's a perfect example. Montreal is another TikTok team. Youth. Yeah. Tons of stud young players.
Pittsburgh would be in the playoffs, which is different, but Philadelphia would be in a playoff spot. And outside would be Toronto, New York Rangers, Washington Capitals, Florida Panthers.
It's nuts.
Yes. And then if you go to the West, and the Central looks good, Colorado, Dallas, but Chicago's in the third spot. And then you go out to the Pacific, Anaheim's in the first spot, then Vegas, Seattle. Like the teams on the outside of the playoffs looking in, the LA Kings, the Minnesota Wild, the Edmonton Oilers, the St. Louis Blues, the Calgary Flames.
This is beyond New Testament. This is like, what do they say? The next golden era is here. That's what all the NHL ads say. Yeah, I mean, it's...
Nobody would have believed you if you said that.
It's different. Now, I want to see where they're
at the quarter poll, 20 games, and we're a couple off that. If you said this is the playoff picture right now.
No one.
So, and there's that old adage that at Thanksgiving, if you're on the outside looking in, what is there, like an 80% chance you miss the playoffs or something like that?
Yep, 80. So
you're telling me in the West, Calgary, St. Louis, Nashville, Edmonton, Vancouver, Minnesota, San Jose, and LA are missing the playoffs, or 80% chance. That means like maybe two of those are going to get in.
Well, it's not Thanksgiving yet, but
that's what I mean. But we're nearly there. But
yeah, I think you get one or two that flip. But yeah, you want to be in good shape by Thanksgiving. Especially this year is weird with all the stacked games, the Olympic break, a lot of back-to-backs. We've played a lot of hockey. We've played 17 games. Some of these teams that are ahead of us in the standings have 15 games, right? So we got to keep going.
You know what else is nuts? Like in the East, Florida's in like third to last place.
Half their team's out, right? Kachuk's gone.
Washington.
Barkov's gone.
Washington is tied with Florida for third to last. New York Rangers, like, boy, have they struggled mightily. They have the fewest goals scored in the NHL.
Yeah, can't score. Good goalie.
Toronto Maple Leafs, outside looking in, another one game over 500. But 500 doesn't cut it, you know? So the Wild got to keep winning. They've battled their way back into this at 7-7-3, 17 points. And realistically, they're only 1 point out, but a couple games in hand with the other groups. But
yeah, but if you play that out, right, 17 points in 17 games, that gets you 82 points. That's not happening.
No.
You know, you got to get a lot. We got to string some stuff together. I think we have an opportunity here, right?
well, it gets
Sharks.
challenging. I think
Well, Sharks, Ducks, Knights. That's a tough one. But we are.
we got to get back to the Ducks because you wanted to do a little dive on the Ducks. But yeah, so
I think the Ducks. So here's what I like about the Ducks. And they were a little bit of a fashionable pick in the summer to be a team that was better. But their roster construction is really interesting. So if you look at like the Wild, right, we've got Yurov and Zeev. We've got a couple of these young guns that are exciting and youthful and kind of the future. Anaheim really is split right down the middle, kind of 50-50. Leo Carlson, 25 points plus 11. He's a baby. Cutter Gauthier, 20 points plus 12. By the way, Troy Terry, he's been around. He's been good for a while. Now we got Chris Kreider, the goal mouth savage that he is. So he's got he's got points. And then you go Mason McTavish, Trouba, 10 points from the blue line. By the way, plus 16, highest in the league. He will kill you if your head's down. Granlund, we know that name. I think they even have Bennett Seneke, one of the coolest names in the NHL. I mean, they got like this locker room that's like a mix of people who would be probably looking on AI to figure out how to talk in the locker room. And then they got some seasoned Jacob Trouba, Chris Kreider, Troy Terry. You know, the goalie, I'm assuming, is good based on the goal differential. But Anaheim looks like they're really the only team I see where they've split the roster in half with this really youthful group. And then they've got some old dudes that know how to get it done.
Yeah. And you look at Anaheim right now, they're doing great. And they've won, 7 in a row now. They're playing fast. Quenneville is...
What's their goal differential? Is like plus like 30 or something. I mean,
but if you look at the underlying analytics, like they've been near their high. They're playing above their expected goals for, which means that their skill and finish is elite right now. So if you're playing the law of averages, they're hovering way above their law of averages right now. And that if they regress to the mean at some point, there's an expected drop off with that group. And some of these other teams, it's the opposite of that, right? Where that's the old puck luck. We're not getting it right now. Stick with it. Like our expected goals are higher than what we're getting. It will come. That was Hines. And I do want to talk about how we got to give Hines some credit on stuff like that. But Anaheim right now is one of those teams where we'll see if they're just on a nice little run right now, or if it's sustainable. They're a team that could be one in the Pacific right now, and then come Christmas be on the outside of the playoffs.
I'm very interested in seeing them, this weekend and seeing how we stack up against them. Because, like, the Devils are good. We saw them, right?
Yeah.
The Canes are good. I know that was a bizarre game, but they're a good hockey team. They fire the puck. And I'm just curious, you're going to see Vegas and Anaheim back to back. Those are two real nice hockey teams. I'm just curious.
They're different.
What's curious what Anaheim looks like.
What I'm seeing, the trend I'm seeing early in the season is that the faster your team is, team speed, the better you are. That's like the correlation. So Anaheim, these young teams that are skilled and just fast. Utah, Anaheim, New Jersey.
Montreal.
Yeah, Montreal. I think you can even put Carolina in the mix there because they play fast as all get out. Colorado's there. Edmonton usually is there. They're struggling right now, but I just think fast because they've got McDavid. But I think team speed maybe is lacking there a little bit. But these young, fast, skilled teams are putting the puck in the net and they're winning games right now. And some of these teams that want to play more structured, kind of physical, like you play my pace type of hockey, are struggling. And I think that's part of the reason why the Wild maybe struggled out of the gates, because they're not run and gun fast like these youthful teams that kind of jumped them, so to speak, early in the season. But I do think that the game will start to shift a little bit, where some of these other teams like Minnesota, like Vegas, maybe even Winnipeg, Dallas in the West, teams like that start to climb and win more games consistently as those younger guys kind of run out of gas or their tricks get figured out.
Well, you see it with Jack Hughes every year, right? I mean, this is a guy that trends to 100 points. People are saying he's playing like the third best player in the league right now. He's struggled to get through a season healthy, right? Guys like Connor Bedard, I think, Celebrini is pretty thick and pretty tough. But I think at some point, some of these bigger guys, they just had enough with these TikTok kids and they just get them, and it's hard to get through that 82 game season as a high flyer.
So Anaheim right now has been with their opponents on analytics, so expected goal differential. They've been on the good side of it, according to Sportlogiq, 5 times. They've been on the wrong side of it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And of those 7 times that they've been on the wrong side of expected goals for,
they won 5 times.
They've won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them.
Yeah. So they got the puck luck on their side. I'm just saying, roster construction, though, you got some grit and you got some youthful energy. I don't know. I think that could be a real hockey team. We'll see on Saturday.
It could be a real competitive advantage.
Yeah, I think it's a nice mix of, it's a very different roster. You're either really young because you were really bad, or you're kind of old, like some of these teams. They just brought in the Kreiders, they got Troy Terry, the Trubas, and then they got all these young draft picks. It's kind of interesting. Like San Jose has Reeves, and they have some camp counselors mixed in, but they're pretty young. It's just curious. The team speed thing, is there analytics on team speed? Like, can they show you, here's the top 10 teams based on how fast they skate? Because a lot of them are wearing the stuff now. Do they have that for you? Like,
I don't know that I don't.
That would be really interesting. Like, this is the fastest skating team in the league, and this is the slowest.
They do track that, like distance traveled and stuff too. So it'd be intriguing to see which teams cumulatively skate the most.
But what's interesting with the Wild is once things get into a half-court offense and the other team has the puck and it starts to look like a penalty kill for us, that's where we're dead in the water. We may not be the fastest team, but we like to go. I think we play our best hockey when we're going north and south up the ice. And whether that's Johansson, one-man breakout, whether that's a stretch pass from Spurgeon.
Well, that's what
Faber.
I want to talk about that stretch pass because that is speed.
It is.
It's a different kind of speed. It's playing fast. So that's not you get the puck and you just skate super fast. He got around the post, saw his guy, and delivered it.
Yeah.
Like there was no indecision, no wasted time, played fast, caught a group changing. That's playing fast.
Yeah, one touch
and
from
that's
JoJo. And Zuki does the same thing. They're always talking how little time the puck sits on Kirill's stick, Zuki's stick, right? Move it, go north and south. So I do think that's when we're at our best. When things slow down, it starts to look like Charles Barkley, half court. I don't like our odds. I'm just waiting for a goalie to look behind him in the net. But if we're moving and we're getting quick breakout passes, I like our odds.
So I think Hines deserves a bouquet here. To start the year, there was struggle, and they talked about it being struggle. And I think the message was we're going through it right now. Every team has a period of time throughout a season when they're going through it. It being massive struggle where you can't find your offense, things aren't going your way, you're losing games in a 10-game span. You're 3-7 and it's ugly. And to start a season and to navigate that, I think is hard because you're also battling the thought, is this just what we are? Is this a bad stretch or is this what we are? And
there were some clunkers.
There were some clunkers, and there was
Columbus game, losing that Philly game. There were some times where it was, even the LA game was a mess.
But he maintained like a level-headedness where didn't call guys out. Remember, they came home and Kirill turned a bunch of pucks over and they were losing games and didn't throw Kirill under the bus. Didn't say, yes, we need to be better. Just said, like, there are parts of our game that are good.
Wasn't yanking the goalie
Right.
after,
There are parts of the game that are good. And what we're seeing isn't bringing us to panic mode. It's we're working our way through it and we see improvement. And when we come out of it, we'll be fine. But we're just working through it right now. And he maintained that, which I think at the start of the season is hard to do. To not pull the coach's levers and to say, my leader's got to be better, or to call guys out and to challenge them that way. I think it shows one, high coaching IQ right now, because the teams and the way you motivate players is different now. It seems support is heard more than a calling out. So I think he navigated, if it was a rough stretch of hockey to start a season, he navigated that in such a good way. And I look at Calgary, and Calgary hasn't been able to navigate it like the Wild have. Those are two teams that are coming off of very similar seasons last year.
Yeah, 1 point, right?
And the difference is they both came out of the gates super slow. One team was able to navigate the challenge as well. One team seems like they cannot navigate the challenge. And Calgary, despite the fact they outshot the Wild 2-1, didn't look like a good hockey team. I mean, it was simple. And not that simple hockey's bad, but you could tell that it was, I crossed the blue line, I'm going to shoot, we got to get a rebound. And if they didn't get a bounce, they weren't going to score. They didn't get a bounce. They didn't score. I just think Calgary hasn't been able to navigate it like the Wild have. And I think John Hines deserves some credit for the way that he's carried the group through that tough stretch.
And I agree. Is that going to be our MO, though, getting outshot and being opportunistic, scoring on the power play, tic-tac-toe goals, try to keep them less than 3, we get to 3? Is that Wild hockey? Because
I don't like sustainable good.
I don't
hockey.
like
That's why I say I keep saying if we've pulled out of it.
I don't like the shot thing.
I agree.
I don't know how many periods I've been staring at 5 shots.
Well, Calgary,
13 minutes into the game. And even with Volstead yesterday, I'm thinking, I know how this works. I've watched a lot of hockey in my life. You start getting 10 shots, you typically get 1 goal, right? This is the save percentage. And I even thought that one was going to get away from us yesterday, and we're only going to get 1 point. And then it's like, it doesn't feel real good. Bad taste in your mouth. You still got a point, but you should have got 2. Yeah, I don't know, man. I really want us. There's so many times we're passing. We're just passing. You said it on the broadcast, just overpassing.
Well,
shoot the puck.
I think that's a psychological thing. You get Zuki and Kirill back, and they can make those plays, so then everybody else thinks that they can make those plays. And they tried.
Okay.
But you don't want to take...
That's like seeing Jesus walk across the water and then jumping out of your pontoon boat.
Well, I'm sure some people tried.
I don't think that's a good way to decide what you can do.
No, but you know what I mean? Like, the style of game changes when they're in the lineup.
Yeah, I suppose seeing that, you're like, hey. Actually, it was funny. Hinestroza and Hartman started doing it. And if anybody might have that similar ESP, it might be them. But they were going zing, zing, zing instead of shooting.
Yeah, not that it's a bad thing. Like, it had those connected, and it's just about execution. And that's where the age-old debate, quantity versus quality.
Yeah, do you want a guaranteed shot, or do you want a guaranteed goal?
Right.
That's like the Kirill pass back to Rossi earlier in the year. For sure, he was going to get a shot off.
Yeah.
But if he can make that pass, low percentage, it's an auto goal.
Right.
And he did. And you're right. But what I was reacting to was last night, you had so many odd man rushes without even getting a shot.
Right. And that's
too much.
The decision there isn't about getting a shot. It's like, on this Ryan Hartman coming down 2-0, he probably has a 50% shot of scoring if he makes the play himself. That's a dynamite opportunity. It's not just a guaranteed shot on goal. There's a high probability you can and will score on the shot. But if you make the pass, now what does your percentage change to? To 65%, it's not worth the pass, is basically what I'm saying, right? Like, you might as well shoot that one. It was different. But yeah, quantity versus quality. The Wild are chasing quality right now, and you have to be careful because it's a slippery slope. But like, that skill matters. Getting the goaltender moving matters. Like, Wallstead he showed last night, if you don't get an NHL goaltender moving and he's set and he's on and seeing it, he's going to be tough to beat. you've got to get them moving. And the Wild and their puck movement, despite the fact that they're getting outshot, they're making goaltenders move so that when they do connect on those passes, they are a little bit, they're much more dangerous chances.
Even Boldy, right? I mean, he's just moving 5-hole.
But it might be unsustainable. Like, it might be unsustainable.
I would be a lot happier if the shots were closer.
Well, and to your point, and shots don't mean everything, but the Wild have, if I count these up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games where if the analytics play the game, expected goals for, the Wild lose that game. They've won 4 of them. On the flip side of that, they've lost 3 where they've been the better team in terms of chances for. So they're getting outshot, they're getting outchanced, but they're still finding ways to win it. That's where it just is like, is it sustainable? Don't know.
Well, this week will tell us something. I'm hoping we don't have a 6-5 game against the Sharks tomorrow night, and then, back-to-back Ducks nights after 3 days off. You're gonna get a test here, a Western test for sure.
Yeah, and I like it. So you look at the 4, like they've won 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
They beat Vancouver. They beat Nashville. They lose to the Hurricanes. They beat the Island. They beat Calgary. So they beat 4 teams they should beat, and they lost to a team that's good. Mm-hmm. Like there's some teams coming to town. Like they maybe should beat San Jose. But now you start talking Anaheim and Vegas, it's different. If they can win those games, I think they've pulled themselves out of it, and we can confidently say that.
It's going to come down to this season. I think it's going to come down to the Chicagos, the Utahs, the San Jose's, because they're in this weird, like, what is this? It's new. You're absolutely right on the Vancouvers. Now, they didn't have Quinn Hughes, but there's some teams we've played, the Islanders, where you're like, this is not a very good hockey team. Even Calgary, I thought last night, even though they outshot us, like those are games you should win and win them. But I think it's going to come down to these kind of erratic, youthful. You got to beat the Chicagos. You got to beat the Utahs, Seattle.
Well, that's where I think the West might be like the East last year, where it takes like 90 points to get into the playoffs just because everybody seems to be better.
I agree.
Like there's no free night. Like there's just a ton of parity. There'll be a couple teams that are dynamite, and then there'll be a bunch of teams within striking distance of each other.
Yeah, Edmonton. I mean, even these teams that are on the outside looking in. LA. I mean, there's no easy ones. It's
what if McDavid takes 2 by 12.5 and misses the playoffs both those years?
I think it'd be great.
That'd make Minnesota sports fans feel pretty good about themselves.
Kumbaya, Connor. Yeah, I don't need that.
You got anything else, or should we get it to the start of the show and Niklas Bäckström?
I was just gonna say injury report. Sturm is close.
He's skating.
Okay, but the thing no one's talking about is Bogo. I mean, Bogo's a huge piece for us. Just a really nice defenseman that we can mix in. What's his status?
Well, not skating yet.
He's a ways away.
He was in a boot, so that's like probably like a 4 to 6, kind of like a hard timeline.
Yeah, and that's
Sturm skating, and Hines yesterday was quoted saying he'll be in before Christmas, and his timeline was lining up somewhere with around the end of the month of November. So you think end of November, beginning of December.
I'm just intrigued about a face-off wizard. I just want to see a guy, because I wonder how much.
Who do you take out of the lineup, though? That's part of the reason why I think Vinny Hinnenström has been playing great.
I know.
Like, who do you take out?
I have no idea, but I do think a lot of the shots on goal stuff thing is from losing draws too, right? I mean, those things got to correlate. Like when we're getting outshot, we're just getting smoked in the face-off circle.
Well, we got smoked the final probably 8 minutes against Calgary, and that's when the shot volume started to get out of hand. And they had the goalie pulled and 6-on-5 and everything like that. But
have you started youth hockey? Is there a youth hockey corner yet? Have you had a game?
We've had some scrimmages, some ref-controlled scrimmages, but no tournaments, no district games. So We're just getting into it.
I'm hoping for some stuff, like maybe no handshake in the handshake line. Like I want some.
I did get a girl that skipped the handshake line for not on our team, but skipped us on the handshake line.
Hey, respect it.
I didn't know what to do. I kind of wanted to be like, hey, don't.
So how did she do it? She skated away?
She just basically went shoulder to shoulder with her teammate and was on the outside.
And didn't put her hand out?
Didn't shake anybody's hand.
But she was in the line?
Not in the line.
Interesting. Oh, she went on the outside, second
outside,
row.
shoulder to shoulder, yeah.
Yeah, and it's really tough for you if you try to pull her in and one-on-one her afterwards to make her shake your hand. That's not a good look either.
No, you just
You
got
can't do that. You just got to be like, okay. What was the score of that game, though?
It was lopsided.
Okay. Okay, so maybe she thought you should have pulled the horses back a little bit.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. I did have one just random one. If you made a team of all Minnesotans playing in the NHL, could they make the playoffs? Because the reason I say this is you got Ottinger, Lindgren, and Lyon, so you have 3 goalies from the state of Minnesota, which no one else can say. And then you got whether it's it's relevant for Wild fans because every time we play somebody from Minnesota, I don't care if it's Noah Cates, Jackson Blake, they're always on the damn score sheet. It's like my worst nightmare. Jimmy Snuggerud. Even if these guys are playing poor, Ryan Paling's going to score against us somehow. So I was just wondering if you add this up, Brock Nelson, Besser, Faber, Lacombe, Falk, Gensel, Snuggie, Jackson Blake. If you went all Minnesota NHL team, could that team make the playoffs? It's kind of an internet talker.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it'd be right around the bubble. I think it'd be right in that kind
So
of.
who's the top line?
That I haven't had enough time to figure out, but I would assume it's Gensel, Snuggie. Is Gensel a wing?
Yeah.
So Gensel, Snuggie,
Brock Nelson.
and then you throw Anders Lee, Besser, Blake, and then you got good defensemen. You're right. You got Fabes, Lacombe. I don't know. I think it's kind of compelling. I like the goaltender.
It's interesting. So,
Team Minnesota.
What are the depth? What's the depth on D? So it's Faber, Lacombe.
I'd have to go around the horn, and I mean, I know I'm missing. It's Falk as a D man. You got to have more out of them. Sam Renzel, right? He's from Minnesota. That's a stud. He's running power play, or was for a bit. I think you got depth on defense too. I mean, it's super weird. I think it's Team Minnesota could make a run in the NHL. A wild card.
Yeah.
Never going to happen. But maybe if we become a nation, we could become a nation.
It'd be interesting.
Get into some international stuff. IIHF.
That would be interesting if you put like the provinces up against Minnesota or even like
Let's not do that.
Massachusetts.
Let's stay out of the
What
province.
other team?
Stay out of the provinces.
What other state do you think kicks out the most players?
Well, God, everything's changing now. California's kicking out players. Arizona. Historically, it was
Michigan.
It was the
or
3Ms back in the day.
Yeah,
it was Minnesota, Michigan, and Massachusetts. Then you have all these weird things where a bunch of kids came out of St. Louis with the Kachucks, Colorado.
Yeah, but they're not going to be able to ice a team.
The thing that's our X factor is the 3 goalies.
Or Massachusetts.
The 3 goalies is genius with Lyon, Lindgren, and Ottinger. I mean, that's amazing. And then it's kind of like. I mean, no one else can even ice a team. They don't have multiple goals.
Where's Hellebuck from? Is he Michigan?
I don't know.
Yeah,
there might be a couple there too, but I don't know. I just wanted to get your thought on that. I think it's
yeah, it seems close. It seems close.
It's be flirting with it.
Yeah.
I don't know. You don't have that one like Jack Eichel. You know, you're missing the Austin Matthews, the Jack Hughes.
I think you're missing some speed and skill up front, and maybe some depth on D. But you got Nate Schmidt. You got some other guys, so maybe not.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
I'll always try to bring you one. I'll just try to scramble your eggs.
Be a good debate. Shoot, you know what? Hoss, you might have to cut this, but we forgot trivia this week. You got that?
We can insert it.
After last week's trivia, I'm ready to go.
Okay.
All right.
A lot of heat.
All right. Well, let's get this in then before we get to Bäckström.
Would you say me winning trivia was similar to the goal against Nashville?
Yeah, it was.
Or throwing a stick, maybe?
Yeah, there was an infraction that was missed. Yes.
All right. Let's see. I can.
All right. Here we go. Do we have a name for this franchise? Just trivia? Like we got to come up with something.
25th trivia?
Yeah. Okay, that works for now.
I'm
We'll
not
come up with
singing
something
the
better.
jingle, but I'll work on it.
Silver season stumpers. That seems terrible. Okay, go ahead.
All right, here we go. Considered one of us, even though not born in the U.S.
Jeez, that's a hard one to do. Minnesotans are pretty particular.
Played for 7 NHL teams through their career.
Oh, I can't look.
Last name has 5 letters. A Minnesota Golden Gopher.
Well, I should get this then. Oh, Vanek.
Ah, I'll ring in.
No? Not right?
Not right.
Oh, my God. I'm out then. Well, he's totally one of us.
Once named to the WCHA All-Academic Team.
All WCHA, all academic team.
Oh, God. I know who it is.
Golden Gopher. 5-letter last name. Is there any more clues or is that it?
Scored his first goal against a fellow countryman.
Can I buzz in?
No.
Can I get a second guess? When do I don't get another chance?
No.
I know who it is.
I can't believe Karts doesn't have this one yet.
I know who it is. I think I should get another.
From the same place as our guest.
Yeah, no, I know who
Yeah.
it is. Nicknamed the Famer,
He's going to get it wrong.
Eric Holla.
Oh, he did. I didn't know that was his nickname. Holla! God, I rushed the Vanek thing.
The reason I was hung up on it, I probably would have gotten it sooner, but I was thinking like older, so I was like Jordan Leopold.
Well, he was born here. I take some contention on. I believe Thomas Vanek is considered more one of us than Eric Holla. He coached Stillwater. He's raised people here. He has people living with him from the Wild. He's kind of really immersed himself. I don't see Eric Holla down the street. Is Eric Holla at General Sports right now? I think that was a leading question, but based on my past infractions, I'll accept the result.
This is how he won. This is exactly how he won bold predictions last year.
I can't believe that.
He gets so mad that he got it wrong that he just talks it into, like he says he was right.
Well, Vanek he's more one.
I had Vanek too at that moment.
No, he's in the lumberyard. Come on. Holla, one of us? Come on.
That's good.
That was, I don't know.
I'm glad we did it. Yep.
All right.
The universe is becoming normal again. I win the trivia game.
Yeah.
The Wild are winning. There's less weird out there in the world. This is fantastic. All right, with that, let's go to our buddy, Niklas Bäckström. We're here.
Till it's here. As always, our interviews are sponsored by Duke Cannon. Earn your clean. Whether you want your hair to be a weapon, you need that body wash, or you want to smell delicious with some cologne, check out Duke Cannon. They got it at Target. Check out their website. It's the 25th season, the silver season of Wild hockey, and we got the best goaltender we ever had, Niklas Bäckström here. 194 wins, 28 shutouts, an all-star, a former teammate of Ryan Carter as well. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Goaltender coach. Yeah.
Should I start with the really sophisticated question?
Yeah, just so everybody knows where you get where you do your prep too.
I do a lot of work on Wikipedia. So I want to know, with a Swedish forward, you're a Finnish goaltender, and apparently there's an MMA fighter named Niklas Bäckström that's also Swedish. Do you get tangled up with these other Niklas Bäckström? Do you ever have people asking you about your relationship with Ovechkin? And are you get any of that dinner reservations at nice places in Sweden or Finland?
I wish a paycheck would still be coming, but no. Probably for a good reason, not with the MMA fighter. But actually with the Niklas Bäckström center, the Swedish center, it happened quite a few times. And back in the days when we had those what do you call trading cards, Upper Deck or whoever it was, asked us to sign, and I had my signature printed on his card, so there'll be some mix-up. But it's still actually funny. A couple of weeks ago, I think there's an email was supposed to go to him about a golf trip, and it came to me, but it's a golf trip, so I'm still going to...
You're going to go to the golf?
I'm still going to play the role, and I still can't roll, and I still speak Swedish, so I'm going to come there and act up.
You're headed to Augusta with the boys. Was this MMA fighter, was he a good fighter? Was he like is this a thing? I didn't know him, but...
I don't know, but if I just base it on the name, I think
He probably was strong.
Yeah,
It
really
feels
tough.
strong.
Yeah,
I'd say slippery,
Yeah.
flexible. You couldn't pin him.
Good pregame warm up.
Exactly. Oh man, that's good. What's that like though when somebody's like when they're like, "Hey, so are you Niklas Bäckström, the hockey player?" Yeah. And then you like, at what point do you have to be like the goalie? You know, like, is it 4 questions in? Do they seem disappointed? Are they happy?
I think it happened both ways. There's quite a few disappointments for sure, but I think I got better at it to read the people who they're looking for and what they're looking for. So now I learned that pretty soon into the conversation until I'm from Finland and I'm not the center.
Hey, what? I don't know. So the population of Finland don't know. Same with Sweden, don't know. Full disclosure. But they seem to kick out a lot of goaltenders and good goaltenders per capita. Like, what is it about Finland, Sweden, the style of play or whatever it might be, that spits out good goaltenders, like at an impressive rate?
I think it's easier for me to talk about Finland. National team, Finnish hockey national team is probably the biggest. I think in Finland, as a hockey player, believe me or not, if you win the Stanley Cup, you're not as cool as if you would win the World Championship. It's bigger in Finland. And for a Finnish national team to have success, the goalie had to be probably the best player every time, even going back to the 90s, 80s. So I think the goaltenders in Finland have always been really respected. It's not always the case, believe me or not, a lot of teams, but in Finland it's been like, do you value, you understand the importance of the goaltending? So I think that started, and I had my first goaltending coach when I was 7 years old. So I had a goalie coach every year. Now when I got to NHL, Bob Mason was the goalie coach in NHL. In the minors, we didn't have anyone. So it was unheard of for me, who's grown up with a goalie coach. So I think that's a really big part of the reason that in the past, Finland has had really good goalies coming, and there's probably a little quiet time now, but there's a couple of good kids coming up.
So you play for your town's team or whatever it might be, and you'd have a goalie coach, and the goalie coach would coach like all the kids at different age groups from that town, or would it be like you just had a goalie coach and your parents had a goalie coach, and like how
Yeah,
was it?
every team my age group, I'm born in 78, so we had our own goalie coach travel
So
with us.
78s had their own goalie coach.
Yeah. Then we had once to twice a week, we had a goalie ice where just goalie-specific drills. But every team practice had a goalie coach there.
Wow, I like that.
The other thing I've heard is over
That's a lot
there.
of goalies though. You need a lot of goalies to have that many goalie coaches.
You only can have 2 or 3 per team, but back in the days we only had 2 per teams. But now it's 3, and maybe a little bit different now. One goalie coach probably have 2 or 3 age groups, but most of the times he's going to be out there.
And they're taking some of the top athletes of the young kids and making them goalies, right? That's the other thing I've heard was that, you know, and maybe in Canada or the U.S., you know, they're building their teams and the goalie comes later. It sounded like at a younger age they're identifying this, you know, they're really investing in the goalies when they're younger.
Yeah, and I like their approach. You said when I was younger, they always told that the guy who can't skate, they put him in the net.
Yeah.
So, but no, I see. Yeah, it's you. When you were younger in Finland, a lot of teams had a rotating goalie, but now you start to actually get into it sooner and sooner. You try to find a good athlete who could be good at that specific position.
Yeah, John, basically what he's trying to ask is, are you an athlete or just a goaltender?
I'm a goaltender. I'm a goaltender. Yeah, I'm not a good athlete. I get better. Like my strength is I'm ready to work and prepare. So for tennis, I'm not a good tennis player until I start to work on it.
And golf, right? Maybe not a good golfer till you steal the other Niklas Bäckström's rounds and stuff. You work out a little bit, you improve. But so is there some validity to that where like somebody would go to a kid and say like, that's a good athlete, we think you should try playing in the net? Or is it just like you just grew up and were like, I want to play goal?
For me, my dad and my grandfather both were goalies. My grandfather played at the highest level in Finland. Dad retired at the U20 level, but I think for me, I always wanted to be a goalie. Outside with the kids, before we had a team, I was in the net always. for sure I was probably the youngest guy, so you know how it goes. The youngest kid goes always in the net, so that was my role. But we created a team. We had 2 sets of equipment, and it was supposed that the equipment was going to rotate between players who wanted to try and net. I took the equipment home after first practice, and I didn't share it with anyone. So I never tried a single practice to be a player, and I don't know if I would be a good enough athlete to do that.
Funny. We should hit him with rapid fire. Should we get this going?
Yeah, I got to find it, but yeah, give me a second.
All right, so rapid fire here is just quick hit questions. John likes to say that the goaltenders tend to overanalyze this. He thinks there's maybe too much time for goalies to think about it. But quick hit questions, we'll go back and forth, ask just to figure out a little bit, see if there's anything quirky, and we'll go from there. But
so if you don't know the answer, you can just say pass. It's a very quick thing.
it's not, yeah.
If I can actually find it here.
How many passes do I have?
It's not that. You'll get it. Or you want me to just rip off a few, John?
Yeah, you start. I'll find mine.
All right. Aside from Heidi, your wife, who do you text the most?
Probably my kids.
Are you on the socials? Like, who's your favorite follow on social media besides me?
Yeah, I like the honey stories. Yeah, I'm on social media, not that active. I try to follow. It's more about probably friends in Finland, what they're up to. I don't know if there's 1 or 2 or a lot of teams I played for. So what's up? It's hard to pick one.
What do you listen to in the car?
It depends. I was back in the days what would I say, like heavy metal, hard rock. It's more getting older, so it's more basic rock. I've been from Bruce Springsteen to Coldplay to Guns N' Roses, Metallica.
I got to interject real quick. You were supposed to go to Bruce Springsteen before you got traded from here to Calgary, right?
Yeah, I was going to go to Bruce Springsteen here, see that show, go downtown to First Avenue to watch Nightwish and Sonata Arctica, 2 Finnish bands who had a show there later that evening. So it was a full day.
And then you got traded.
Yeah.
You didn't get to go.
No.
But Bruce Springsteen was on tour and he's going through Europe later. Did you get to see him in Europe?
Yeah, I've seen it quite a few times after that.
Okay, good.
How do you remember that?
I'm a big fan of yours.
Wow. Okay. If you had a green light in any city, you've just stood on your head, had a shutout, coach says go blow off some steam, what city are you picking?
Well, Vegas wasn't in the league when I played, so that all. I would go Montreal.
That's a good one. Do you have any pet peeves? You know what a pet peeve is? It's something that like instantly, like it just like annoys you. It's something that like bugs you. Like for example, one of my pet peeves is having too many things in my front pockets. Like it doesn't feel right, or like lazy drivers or slow drivers, or
I don't want to say I'm what you call like
eaters.
a hoarder, but I'm pretty bad at throwing away stuff. So I think that's probably my family members would tell me like you got too much
junk.
shit. Yeah.
Do you have a hidden talent?
No, not really. Can't dance, can't sing, so nothing.
How about first job? Have you had a real job other than working in hockey?
Yeah, when I was younger, I don't know if a job. It's once a week. I went to with a friend of mine to clean a warehouse, so I was a cleaner.
Once a week helping a friend clean a house. That's good. That you could have built on that. Perfect weekend. What are you doing? Like, what's your ideal weekend?
I like to be we have a cabin, so I like to spend a cabin there in the summer. Wood burn sauna and fish and good food and just spend time with your friends there.
Ideal temperature for a wood burning sauna?
I'm in Celsius, so I would go from 75 to 85 Celsius, and then you throw water on so you get a heat up. But I should know what it's in for.
And how many minutes will you be in there at that?
I try to do a couple rounds of 10 minutes time.
I feel like the Scandinavians are ahead of the game in saunas. They're making their way across the Atlantic, and it's like popular and trendy in the States now. Like everybody I know is getting a sauna.
In Finland, like you have a condo, 1-bedroom condos, they have a sauna nowadays. Like,
And you go sauna and then jump into the cold and back to the sauna?
yeah, that's how you do it.
And where do you end?
You should probably end in the cold, but I'm not that tough, so I usually end in the warm.
And do you wear the hat, the little thing on the head?
No, I don't.
No, just regular.
Yeah.
All right, hockey jersey you had as a kid.
Oh, I don't know if I had one. I had soccer jerseys, but I had a New Jersey jacket, and I always wanted a Patrick Roy jersey, but I don't think I ever got one.
Starter jacket? You remember those starter jackets back?
Yeah, it was one of those.
Really?
My dad brought it from Germany, and no one had it in Finland, so it was pretty cool.
So you were awesome. You were that guy.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's awesome. I know you're finishing stuff. But again, a lot of times the Europeans have weird food combos. You do like ketchup on the eggs or ketchup on your pasta. You do anything weird with the food?
Sometimes ketchup on the pasta, but not as often anymore. But that's just with the meat sauce.
Just with the meat sauce.
Yeah.
What about the last thing you binge watched, either a TV show or maybe a movie?
Oh, there's a couple of TV series from Finland, so I don't know if that. But I've been here like, what would be here last? I should know it. Like,
The goalies get jammed up on rapid fire, man. This is not how. Even when you're like, what do you listen to in the car? They're like, well, depends on where I'm driving and what time of day it
20
is.
years you take pucks to your head. There has to be.
What I think it is.
Hey, what's your nickname? Let's do that.
Yeah.
Well, here it's back home. It's Niklas.
Okay.
In the sauna, what's your go-to drink? Let's say ice water excluded. Friday night. Actually, I have a couple questions about the sauna. Is that like a morning thing, an afternoon thing? Is it like Friday before you go out to the bar, like what, or dinner? Like what? When is the ideal time?
I think sauna is great. You can do it any time of the day. Sometimes it's really good in the morning. Sometimes in the afternoon. Most of the time we do it before dinner in the evening. But you know, I never tried when you come back from the bar. I don't know if that's good if you fall asleep there. But you know, I like to do it in the morning too. Like jump in the sauna and get your day going.
Yeah, and then that's just ice water in there. Go-to drink would be ice water. You have like a beer in there before?
Yeah, in the evening you have a beer, or in Finland we have a drink called a long drink.
Oh, I love long drink.
Okay.
Really? You know
Yeah,
what it is?
it's gotten big here. It is outstanding. Invented maybe for the Olympics, and they didn't know how to serve all the people, so they kind of made this big gin wop of all this booze, and this is the cleanest, crispest drink you'll ever have. No free ads.
What is it? Gin with like lingonberry or something?
Grapefruit.
Is lingonberry in it?
No.
Oh,
But they have peach, they have a cranberry, they got a blue one, a white one, a black one. That is some. If you're on a pontoon boat in the summer, you won't even know you drank one.
I want to get more into sauna culture. I was looking at something the other day, and they were having like a nightclub, like a day nightclub in the sauna.
I went
There was a DJ in the sauna. Like the sauna was that big.
I went to Sauna Fest last year at Malcolm Yards at the U of M. You go there in your robe, and they had like 30 saunas you could try out in the outside area. And you just go around drinking. You got the wristband. You feel like the Big Lebowski. It's great. You're supposed to sauna every day. They say like it's healthy. Like if you could sauna every day, it's great for you. Do you sauna every day?
I try to here actually. We have a good sauna with a Finnish stove in Columbus, so at least 5 times a week. It's really nice.
I got to do it more. What is your go-to drink at the bar?
Pretty basic beer.
Yep. Do you have a brand?
It doesn't really matter actually. Well, when you retire, so after that you try to stay with the light beer, but
Watch the waistline.
yeah.
That's all right. You got any more? Are we good?
No, that was good. You did good. You know, we got you back on track. I feel with the nickname one that helped.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out.
He's still thinking of what he's binge watched.
So what I like to ask goalies this, like what goes on in the crease? Like let's say the puck's in the other end for half the period and you're just by yourself down there. Like this is why I think goalies think about everything. They just think for 60 minutes every night. You know, it's like ends up being 2.5 hours. They're just thinking to themselves. No teammates to talk to. Like, what do you do down there all by yourself?
I think when you're dialed in, you still focus on the game and you try to figure out, okay, how many lefties, how many righties, is there one-timer threat when they come down? But those days, when you're not on, there's a lot. You're trying to maybe look who's in the crowd and try to think about what's for dinner tonight. But most of the time, when you're able, you're still in the game. And
So you're just focused that whole time.
yeah, but that's when a lot of goalies feel the more you see the puck, the more shots you face, it's easier because you don't have time to think.
Yeah. So it seems the opposite, but facing 35 shots a game is almost better than facing 18.
Yeah, and then what's the word? When you don't see enough pucks, you start to overthink things and you start to think, am I good enough to stop the next puck even if nothing changed? So the more you see pucks, the better it usually is.
So you're a goaltender coach now with Columbus. By the way, having a goalie named Jet and Elvis has just got to be outstanding. But what have you noticed about the evolution of the position from when you played? Now, you know, both these guys are doing well, .916, .917, kudos. But what's changed and kind of how do you help these guys?
Well, the game is, you know, it feels like we retired a couple of years ago, but it feels it's a lot quicker. The players are a lot skilled, and the goalies around the league, they're better athletes. They're better all-around athletes, and it's impressive how they can play and how quick they are nowadays. But those two kids, I've been fortunate to work with some really good goalies, but even better persons. So it's fun to come to the rink and try to help them.
So the NHL used to be, I mean, you go back to the Patrick Waugh, Marty Brodeur, you're getting 70 starts a year. And it was like you have your 1A guy. And then it seemed that for a while teams were thinking, all right, well, let's go like 60-40, almost 55-45 in a split. You see how Boston do it with Allmark and Swayman and some other teams around that same time were doing it. And now it seems like there might be a shift going back to like not 70 starts, but like you've got like a 1 and a 2. You notice the same trend, and like what are the advantages to both?
I think both. It depends on the goalies too, and even just the other day in our locker room, I don't know, someone told our goalies, I think I played 70-plus games, the best season I had here, and they were like, it hasn't been like a trend for a while, and they were shocked, like how many games in the past. The game is for sure different. It's a lot harder for the goalies this year or now to play 70-plus games, but for me, it was personally a lot easier. You didn't have to think. You knew, good or bad, you're in the next game. You just play. And first 5 games are pretty tough, but after that you get into a routine or you get into a rhythm, and it's easier to play. But then when you can split, I think going into the playoffs, you're going to have two fresh goalies. I think Tuukka Raskin in Boston was probably one of the first some years ago when one year they made the playoff and he was tired. Next year they took him down to 50, 60 games, and I think they went to the finals that year.
Let's talk about your time here. So I think that there was a rule that changed in like the lockout, maybe 04, 05. We talked about this off camera a little bit, where it was like the first time or a clause in the CBA that allowed a free agent from Europe or outside of the North America to be able to sign and just go with any team. And you were one of the first, if not the first player to sign out of that. So you're 27 years old and you come over to play for the Minnesota Wild. And what was that like?
I think even in Europe, every player dream about getting to NHL. I had some good years before that, but it was pretty close a year or two before I signed here. But then nothing happened. 2006, I was part of the Finnish national team at the Olympics in Turin, so I think my name got back into the NHL circles after that. And then just a couple of days before the deadline, I think the deadline was then end of May. So I remember I was in New York actually on a vacation and got an offer from Minnesota and signed it, and I had to bring the papers myself to the headquarters in New York, to NHL headquarters in New York, to make sure it gets there on time. So
Really?
yeah, it was
a
really,
courier.
It was surprising, but so yeah, but I think for me it worked really well. I played a lot of hockey in Europe. I think I was ready to come over here, got the opportunity, and got the best out of it.
So it's interesting because you were you 28 or 27?
28.
28 years old. So I don't know. I saw something that said late bloomer, but I don't think that that's accurate because you were playing great hockey in Finland before that, but maybe late bloomer in terms of making it to North America and playing in the NHL. But what about your path do you think was helpful for you to be ready? Because you see it all over now. Goalies are drafted in first, second, third round. They're kind of given the net early, and they're maybe not prepared. Or even some of these high-profile goalies that are drafted, it takes the third team for them to really catch on and be like a starter. I mean, right, you could go around the league and look at like Markstrom probably didn't catch till he was in Vancouver, and Dubnyk didn't catch till he was here in Minnesota, right? Like, and those guys are high-profile draft picks. But what about your path do you think helped you be ready to go at 27? Because when you hit North America, you hit the ground running.
Yeah, I think for me, just getting ice time, I don't even know. I think I was up to 400 played games in Europe before that, national team games. So I think I had the experience and had handled good things and bad things. I think a young kid, you go a goalie who's get drafted in the first round at 18, he hasn't probably had a rough path yet. Everything has been going his well. He has been needed to fight any battles. Like everything has been always perfect, not perfect, but really good for him. And I had some battles. I was close to retire when I was close to 20, but then you fight through that. And I think when I got here, I've seen so many different situations. I think I was ready for whatever it would bring.
Talking about routine, we've heard about this warm-up you did. I don't know if an Apple Watch would register. I don't know if it would register this as a jog or a walk. I don't know how long it took. I picture you dressed like Rocky Balboa in kind of a gray sweatsuit. What was this sort of? My understanding is each step, it looked like you were about to stop running, but that was the entire lap. What was going on with this deal? I've heard about this from like 5 people already. You would go on like a 45-minute lap?
I'm so happy social media wasn't really a thing when I played here.
That routine would have died.
Yeah. For me, game days, I like to be by myself a lot. I didn't really talk to anyone. Tony, our trainer, bugged me about something, so I had to talk to him. But usually on game days, I like to be myself. And the locker room is probably not the most quiet spot. Yeah. So I just like to be before the game with my own thoughts. And instead of running something I was probably out for 20, 25 minutes and then made some stretches and got dressed. But I just want to be myself. So instead of walking or running full, so I think it was a little bit in between. And, but that's probably, the speed wasn't, let's say, there's a saying that speed kills, and my running, the speed didn't kill anyone. Yeah,
you were alive and well. Did you have headphones on? Were you listening to music?
No,
that's even better.
Myself, yeah.
That's even better. Raw dog, just out there. That's so good.
What was the routine? You put a towel in in the shirt or anything in case you start sweating?
No.
It sounds like he's not going to start sweating.
There was no risk of sweating, but I actually started back home in Finland, and in Europe it's different. You don't have the big arenas, so when you warm up there, you have to go outside. Rain or shine, you're outside, so there was a little bit easier there. No one saw it, so I could be out in the parking lot or wherever hiding.
So it's not something that developed here in the NHL. Like that was your routine beforehand.
Yeah, and we just talked about it. I don't think my talent wasn't being a really good athlete. I think my strength was I was ready to work really hard and doing the preparation to get the best out of myself. So I think that was part of me getting ready. Who knows? I never tried really to not do it, so maybe could have been better or worse.
We talked to Bobby Mace the other day too, and I was like, dude, how did you, what's that like with the goalie that doesn't want to talk to you on game day? He's like, he would talk to me. And I don't know if you actually would talk to him. I was like, what would he say to you? And Bob, Mace was like, well, maybe he didn't talk to me. Maybe he would just nod to me, but it worked for you, right?
Yeah, I listened. Mace talked to me, and I listened to him. So.
That's so good. What's that like though? The goaltender coach relationship, because I think it's different than any coach player relationship in terms of player coach.
Yeah, I think I would say it's a lot closer, even on a personal level. Like you as a goaltender coach, you only have 2 or 3 goalies at the same time, so you get really close with them. You spend a lot of time with them, and you want to get to know them better. As a head coach or assistant coach, you have 20, 25 players. You don't really have the opportunity to get to know each other. But yeah, with Mace here, had him the whole 10 years, and we're still in contact, and really good friend and a great coach for me, and I really owe him a lot. And he got me into the game of golf too, so we had a couple good rounds.
We talk about Jacques, and he's going to come up a lot this year with it being the 25th anniversary year, but there was a lot discussed about his structure within the game and the style of play. How was that for a goaltender to play in?
It was good. It was really good. He demanded a lot out of every player, and it was crystal clear. Coming into the game, we were ready to play. It didn't matter who we played against or where we played. We knew exactly what we have to do to have a chance to win. And now, after I retired, and I was doing some scouting jobs for a while, and you go to a rink, you see old players. They want to talk, pick your brain about coaches or whatever. Always one question they had is, who was your best coach? I said, Jacques Lemaire, and he started to laugh. And oh, what's so funny? He said, every player who ever had Jacques Lemaire as their coach, when you ask the question, who's your best coach you had?
That's true.
It comes right away, Jacques Lemaire.
That's crazy.
All the other players, do you ask, they have to think about it for several minutes. But if a player had Jacques Lemaire as his coach, the answer is right away.
Oh, what a compliment. Back in the day, there was more hot stove kind of, seems like the younger players, they don't hang out as much as there was a little more cowboy culture back in the day. Who were some of your all-time favorite Minnesota Wild teammates? Like if you had to throw a foursome together of just be fully entertained for 18 holes, not because of their golf ability, who are some of your favorite beauties that came through Minnesota with you?
Do I have to leave him out of it? No, there's a lot. That's a tough question. There was a lot. I always enjoyed my time. Probably from day one when I got here, he took me under his wing, was Boogie. Mm-hmm. In the locker room, in the rink, that was really fun with him. And then there's a lot of, I don't know, probably, it's going to hurt me, but I probably had to say Mikko too. He could be so grumpy, so I sometimes enjoyed that.
Just like trying to cheer him up.
Yeah, so but him, he was there the whole 10 years too, so got to know each other really well. Harding, Josh, we spent a lot of times next to each other in the stalls, and got to know each other real well. So
how did Boogie take you under his wing? Like what did he
Well, my first day, actually we came here, same flight with Mikko Koivu and Petteri Nommalin. I was on a 2-way deal, they were not, and with the jet lag, next morning they wanted to sleep in, and there was an optional skate. I'm going down to the rink, I have to show up, and so I'm just getting here. I got 2 hockey bags with my gear, probably 20 sticks with me. Don't ask me why. Tony didn't want to pay for any of my.
Here we go.
But so I'm sitting at the hotel next to the rink having breakfast, and then there's this big dude walking in with like a pink mohawk. I'm like, oh, was there a punk band playing last night or nothing? And then he comes join me at the table. Are you going to the rink? Are you a goalie? I said, yeah, I'm Derek Bugard. So the bags were heavy. He just took the boat bags, threw in his truck, and drove me down to the rink and carried it into the locker room. After that, he was always there when I needed. But
that's great.
It's that's who he was. Big heart, great smile.
Yeah, good story. You are also shared the crease with some characters too. Like you had Theodore at one point. You had Briz. Like any good stories with these guys? Like what was it like sitting by Briz all the time? Now, full disclosure, before you entered, I think I was saying that voting you is probably one of the best guys that I played with to sit next to, because you're not going to be like the loudest guy in the room, but you're probably the most funny guy in the room. So there's always like a good observation, a good comment, and if you're not paying attention or you're too many seats away, you might miss it a little bit. But how was it sitting next to Briz and Theodore and Doobie and some of these guys? Harding, I mean, great characters.
It was great since even Manny Fernandez, like he helped me a lot the first year when I got here, and it's been fun. Kemper, all these guys, it's hard to be. It's not easy to be a good teammate to your goalie partner because one can only play at a time. You want to play, he wants to play.
There's one job, two guys.
Yeah, you want him to do well, but you want to do well, so it's always that. But you grow into it. But Briz, I don't know, so many stories you had to. Sometimes you just probably had to turn it out. It's like when your kids are talking to you, you just nod your head, things. But Theodore was different. A lot of stories. Rock star there. He was great.
That's why Montreal's your favorite city.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind going out with Jose Theodore in Montreal.
Doobie too. Doobie is more quiet too, but he was dialed in, and it was nice to see how his career picked up here. Harding, great personality, positive. Like he was in a lot of bad spots here, but he was always positive, showing up and battle for the team. Kemper, quiet kid, growing. Had maybe some rough time here, but it turned out pretty well for him.
Yeah, won a cup. What about your favorite moments when you look back on your career? Maybe it's an international hockey moment, maybe it's an NHL moment. If you're kind of playing the highlight reel back in your head, what are a couple moments that stand out to you about your career?
One is probably all the people you met through the game. Like you realize how fortunate you have been to be around and surrounded by a lot of great people and getting a different experience. I think for me, coming into the league as 28, you didn't really take anything for granted. So for me, every game was meant a lot. It didn't matter if it's a preseason game or a season game. You just wanted to play. It sucks. I didn't get a chance to win the Stanley Cup as a player, so that would be the ultimate dream. But being part of a couple Olympics, it's for sure something. But just the NHL journey, and not just the games. A lot of good things happen. Like I don't know how much time we have here, but after one season, we're sitting at Tom Reed's there with a couple teammates and enjoying lunch and a couple of beers. And father and son comes in, and they just wanted to have lunch, and then they recognized us and asked for autographs. We asked them to join us around the table, and they sat down, and then a couple of years later, the dad, is it called What About Kids, the foundation that we...
What About Children?
What About Children, yeah. So the dad comes there, and do you remember me? I said, no. Well, that day, when we met you guys, we came from the Children's Hospital, and their son just got diagnosed with cancer, but he's here today. He's the survivor. So a lot of these stories.
Yeah, that's pretty powerful, pretty cool. But I think that you deserve a lot of credit too for being a special guy and caring about stuff like that. There's a lot of guys out there that would be like, like, hey, you want an autograph, but inviting somebody to the table, like that's the kind of guy you are. You mentioned the story about Boogeyman and how he opened a door and just carried a bag for you, and it was meaningful. Like it takes a special person to recognize that stuff as well. But back to the playing career before we let you get out of here, because you got a busy day running around here. But you win the William Jennings Trophy in 2007 with Manny Fernandez, which I think is the best team save percentage.
Yeah.
And then you go on to win a couple more, like you're a Vezina finalist in 2009. And then I think there's, what is it, the Roger Crozier Grace Award, which is the best save percentage for as an individual. Like, how meaningful were those things to you?
First of all, I'm really happy you said them, but I couldn't pronounce them more.
I don't know if
I couldn't even say them. It's probably weird to say. Like, I always felt hockey is a team game. It feels weird to be somewhere without your teammates, but I always look at it, it's for you to, as a goalie, to be able to have success, you have to have great guys in front of you to help you. And I think I was really fortunate to play with some really good teams here, coaches, and under a really good system too, so that helped me a lot. But it's probably when you get older, you start to remember looking back, and like the saying goes, the older we get, the better we were. So maybe that's when you look back at them more.
So playing coaching, we asked Jock this, and he's obviously at a different phase of life, but like what he identified as a player or as a coach, because he had a great playing career. And he's like, I enjoy coaching more than I enjoyed playing. And it maybe is too new for you right now, but are you enjoying the transition into coaching? And is it something that you could see yourself doing for a long time?
I think you're right. I'm a really young coach still. I still struggle with that I still see me as a player, and I have to try to get rid of that, but still in my heart and my head, I'm still a player. Then you put the gear on and you realize you're not really a player anymore. But in my head, when I talk with the guys in the locker room, it's still like weird when they say, hey, coach. It's still something I have to work on.
And is it rewarding, though, like helping a young guy figure some things out? Because John already touched on it. Like, there's been improvement in Columbus's net, and I know you're going to give all the credit to the kids, but it has to be rewarding in some level to say, like, hey, yeah, like I'm helping these kids find their way.
Yeah, it's always the players. They do the work. You're there to try to guide them, help them, and I always try to, if I made some mistakes, I try to make sure they're not going to make the same mistakes and try to help them.
I think if Dean ever pulls Elvis, you have to say to Jet, Elvis has left the building. And then you tap him on the back. That's just a freebie. Honestly, you can just have that. Tell me about Carter when you played with him. This is rare. And I want to let the fur fly here. So what was he like in the locker room? The young Ryan Carter, his fashion choices. What do you remember about this guy? Because not everybody overlaps this way. This is pretty good.
Yeah, when he was around, you have to be really careful what you said. If you said something wrong, coming from a different culture, different language, so there's a lot of mistakes I said. So, but he's the one who's going to.
So he's like a grammar cop.
Yeah, he's going to catch on that, and then he's not going to tell it to you. You could go see him go whisper to the next guy and put the next guy on the spot, and then he's laughing.
I got it.
That's a grin he had a lot. He could see something happen. He's sitting. Laughing by himself, and then he can't wait.
You just have to observe,
just
and then
file it away.
You wait to strike. You wait to strike.
File it away.
But I see when he played, I liked he was. Well, we were on the same side for most of the time, but he's pretty intense. Like you see, it's not like a switch that flicks there, but when he got into the game, he was game face on, and he was ready to play, and it's not easy to do for 82 games.
Well, I tell you what, appreciate you coming. I imagine you're going to be dropping the puck tonight, so I'm going to be watching that closely, and I'll critique it. So I would maybe when you get back to the hotel today, drop a couple. You want to get that spin right and make it flat. Don't let it bounce. Spurgeon's going to win it. I'm sure of that. But yeah, thanks for spending some time with us here this afternoon.
Is that the first time you're going to support me if I drop a puck and leave a rebound?
If you do it right.
Hey, thanks for being here.
Thanks.
Good luck the rest of the season,
Thank
too.
you.